gives me energy as well because this is stuff we like to talk about.
Right.
So, without further ado, I'm going to let Mitch get into something that he usually likes to talk about or in the offseason likes to talk about. But right now, there are times where these are the dog days, as they say. Right. But I'll let you take it away and explain in your own words where you're coming from.
So, the Raiders just came off our last game, Thursday Night Football. Probably the worst game of the season. Nobody came out of there looking good. It was a 10-7 victory for the Broncos. But really, it was just a shit show for the Raiders, honestly. Yeah. I mean, at this point, why are we keeping Geno Smith in the game? I mean, it can't really get any worse than this, can it? I had a big question on why we weren't able to get Brock Bowers the ball. Mm-hmm. We just played the Jaguars, another team we should have beat, but ended up losing to by 1 point. But he had 12 receptions, 127 yards, and 3 touchdowns. All right. And then a week later, he has 1 reception for 31 yards on 1 target. He's the only guy we got. We just got rid of Jacoby Myers. We traded him away to the Jaguars after we played. He was like, "Oh, this place looks pretty nice. You guys might as well just leave me here. I don't need to get on the flight. I'm chilling." So we traded. I think we got a 4th and a 5th round pick for Jacoby Myers. So sad to see him go. But now we actually don't have any wide receivers. I think everybody is pretty much on the Tibbins scale on either being a practice squad player or actually being an actual NFL player. Mm-hmm. I think we have Deontay Thornton now.
Rookie.
We have Trey Tucker. Mm-hmm. We have Tyler Lockett.
Yep. The vet. And
that's what we have.
Jack Beck or something, but he doesn't even.
Yeah, Jack Beck, the rookie, but he hasn't been able to get any tick.
Yeah.
And really, Mykel Mayer. I mean, again, I know it's not the same, but we saw the Patriots 2 tight ends, right?
Yeah.
We had Gronk, we had Aaron Hernandez. Obviously, 2 great talents with a Tom Brady, but we got Mykel Mayer and Brock Bowers. Mm-hmm. Let's just feed them a lot.
Right.
And then we got a guy named Ashton Genty that we can hand the ball out to. But the line looks terrible. We were losing guys on the line, so having backups to guys who are already majority backups as our starters makes it even rougher. Our defense is just a bunch of Pete Carroll's players from old teams. So they're just out there having a good old time. It's like a retirement home on our defense. We got like Devin White, Jamal Adams, like just a bunch of guys where it's just like, all right, well, at least we got Max Crosby doing something, but there's only so much he can do. I think we need to give Kenny Pickett a try, just anything at this point. Like, again, trade for Shedeur. Or we missed it. We missed out on trading for Shedeur, but it's just like we got to do something different. 2-7 right now. I know these weren't the expectations when Pete Carroll took over the job, but I don't even think he's understanding what's going on right now. The play call from Chip Kelly looks terrible. We're throwing screen passes when we could do run plays. Bro, we ran a QB sneak on a 3rd and 2. Mm-hmm. Like
nasty,
bro. What? And like didn't even get. We might not even have gotten a third in inches. You know what I'm saying? Like, It was so bad. And so just the play calling is suspect. The offensive line is terrible. We got guys out there that we can't get it to because Geno Smith is running for his life. Denver was making a bunch of tackles after the fact. There was no flags called at all. Just a terrible game and a terrible season so far. Like, there's really no excuse for it. The Raiders are looking bad from the top down. And that's why we're now 2-7. We beat the Patriots week 1 before they could figure out anything. And then we beat the Titans, who are just as bad as us. So we got the Denver Broncos. We're 8-2 now. They just been beating up on a bunch of bad teams. We just saw how bad they were. They did this against the Raiders. So crazy to see on 2 bad teams, but one's 2-7 and the other's 8-2. That's just like crazy to see.
Right.
But moving forward, we got Dallas for Monday Night Football coming up, and I mean they're terrible too. But I don't know how you get any worse than the Raiders. I mean they're kind of a joke every time they're on TV, and it's like prime time. The announcers are just having to find things to talk about Max Crosby because there's really nothing else. They talk about Brock Bowers, and I wonder why they're not getting it to Brock Bowers. they really don't have anybody else. So it's just questioning simple things. You'd think, hey, let's just have about 15 plays written up just for Brock because he could be our number one. He's a receiver at the tight end position.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see no hope moving forward. I mean, if you watch that game on Thursday, I know you probably turned it off by the freaking into the second quarter, halftime. You're already done with it, but they got the Cowboys, and they're going to find a way to win. I'm going to say 2 touchdowns for their running back, and Ferguson gets a touchdown, gets 2 touchdowns, and they just win it like 31-7. That's what we got looking forward to moving forward, unless we make a change. Kenny Pickett, force your way into the QB1 position. Say, hey, guys, we tried everything else, right?
Trade
Holler
for
at
Shador.
me. Can't even trade anymore with the freaking trade deadline up.
Right,
So, on to better things. Let's talk about the 49ers a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
that
slightly
seems to know
better.
what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I think that when you look at this season, it's definitely like it's a great example of when you see 2 organizations that one has had a little more ground under their feet for a longer period of time,
Mm-hmm.
whereas I think that there are actually some solid folks now in the Raiders building, right? But I think that the impact, like Pete Carroll's impact, you can't necessarily think it's going to be felt after 1 year or whatever with the players. But like you were saying, we don't have anybody out there. And coaching, this shows that there is still such a power in front office and coaching in terms of what can get you to a victory, and that there are different ways to get there.
So I would look at it like this. Like, you see how the Giants are now they got Buster Posey.
Mm-hmm.
Young just came out of playing not too long ago.
Right.
They're getting young. They're moving up young players, trying to get young. They bring in a coach who can connect with young players.
Yeah.
Well, the Raiders did kind of the opposite. They got an influx of great young talent,
right,
and then they brought in an old guy to like bring in shit that was like, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Right.
It's been work, but we need something different. Like whatever has been done for the Raiders is we got to have a little more excitement, a little more like just youth, and especially in terms of the coaching, just to bring something different, because what we're seeing is just a lot of the same, and it's looking ugly. So I just think we'd be better off maybe trying to appease our young guys and like feed into the young movement rather than like, oh yeah, let's bring in a storied coach to bring in his old players to then try and mesh with these young guys, even though they might be a step out of the league trying to mesh with these young, it's just
No, I definitely agree.
A mix.
I think it's a valid point. Definitely. I mean, we'll definitely be able to get a more conclusive answer after next year. If he's still swimming, and moving nowhere, doggy paddle, then we'll know this was not it from the get-go. Hopefully that's not the case for the guy. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a valid point. I don't think a lot of people are talking about that, and I think there's definitely something to be said for going just a completely new route and reinvigorating players in that way by bringing in new blood, but like young life energy, all that stuff. So yeah, I could see that. And you're right. You guys have a bunch of youth, so maybe there's still time. But it would all start with the quarterback, right? Like at the end of the day, it starts and stops with the quarterback.
And there ain't nobody in this next class. Oh my God.
No.
Sheesh.
No. But hey, Shador might be out there. There might be some guys out there, in this offseason. Hopefully you guys don't act as shy as you guys have been with players that seem to make so much sense. Where it's like, I mean, the guy wants to come. You guys are like, we're pretty good. Yeah, we're pretty good. Like we're good. I don't know if we're a good football team. So like it's gonna be hard to make it. And then you look back on it and it's like, really? You played hardball with that guy? You know what I mean? You guys are, whatever record it is, right? So anyway, on to the Niners. It is a happier situation, undoubtedly. I think just in general, right, with the faithful and just the direction of this overall brand. But I mean, this year it has everything to do with the coaching in the front office and nothing to do with the players in terms of just, what there is to cheer for or look forward to. Obviously, as you guys know, we're already not having Nick Bosa out there. He's gone for the season. We're already all pro Fred short. He's gone for the year. And now we've lost Mykel Williams, the rookie baller. Who, really at the end of the day, I felt like no matter what was going to have a great opportunity this season to just really grow with all the reps. And he was already handling a high volume rep amount of reps, when Nick Bosa was there, and so it was only going to increase, which maybe that's played into the injury. But it just seems like every time there's something to look forward to in terms of, this guy's coming back, and so maybe you could think about these two pairing together. It always seems like the guy who was waiting, is not even available by the time the guy who was in the wings is coming in.
For real.
And so that's just another common storyline with the Niners this year, where Bryce Huff is on his way back. Bryce Huff has been really good this year. I felt good about what Mykel Williams was doing, especially with the run. Reading offenses in general, just playing smart and just a huge body. So I was excited to see a little bit of that thunder and lightning come back in, even though, again, like I said, we're still going to be missing tons of players for the rest of the year. I think that is also why we have decided to stand pat at the deadline. A lot of people, a lot of names were swirling around, and I think at the end of the day, if we were in any other position in terms of our roster, I think we would have made a move. I mean,
especially with Sauce and Williams going from the Jets.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah, I think we would have gone Williams before Sauce for sure. Yeah, I think we would have gone Williams before Sauce. I think. But, and again, we can talk about that because there was a little bit of fleecing, I feel like, that went along. But no doubt about it, I think that, we would have made a move. I think Quentin Williams would have been perfect. I think there were several names. I think we would have made a real, real strong push for Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Phillips we might have made a push for. And then the other guy that I know we did make a push for and it just didn't work out was Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
So I think we would have pushed one, if not two of those deals across the table had we had a couple of these other guys that we felt like we could rely on to be there for the rest of the season. So that brings us all to what happened last week in terms of where Mykel Williams was injured. That'd be the Giants. We were playing out there, which is known to kill teams.
Yeah.
Players, all that. The Meadowlands, bad business. That's where Nick Bosa's first one happened. I just don't like that turf. Everybody talks about it. Yet again, we lose another huge player to that same exact turf, same exact position actually as well. So heartbreaking, but we got the dub 34-24. Obviously, Cam Scatterbo got a big injury as well. And so that
looked gross.
That's over with. Season done. So get well soon, young man. But we were able to do our thing. The score I thought looked a little closer in the end than it kind of was. Felt like we had that. But Jackson Dart's exciting.
Yeah.
He was doing some things. We struggle with,
Big
kind of mobile. Yeah, we struggle with mobile folks. So that team could have a little future, with Neighbors and some of those guys coming back. I like that guy, Dart. But again, when you look at this game, it's a game where great coaching happened. I think you're making the most of who you have out there. I think you're scheming a lot based on what the defense is showing. Mac Jones, not the greatest of showings, but really did everything we needed. 235, 19 for 24, 2 tutties, right? You look at C-Mac, what else can you ask from the guy?
I do everything.
28 carries, 106 yards, a touchdown. Receiving, no worries, 5 receptions, 67 yards, also another touchdown.
Give me that.
So I'll just be 2 players for you. It's not a problem. I'll be running back 1 and I'll be wide receiver 1. Cleveland Farrell, a familiar name, has got a sack.
Oh boy,
and he's back again on the Niners. He's back again on the Niners, and he was a big Raider guy, right? This was a guy who had a big success with the. No, I'm just playing.
What was the fourth pick of the draft or something? Oh my god,
he was. It was what, Nick Bosa and then Cleveland Farrell. That's how it sounded when they said his name. I was like, Cleveland Farrell. Oh goodness. But he's had a couple moments, kind of like Arden Key when he came over, and now he's back with us. I don't even know where he was prior, but obviously our nasty line required call-ups. And so he's one of the guys, and he got a sack. So shout out to him. And then also Bethune, my boy Tatum Bethune is a beast. This dude is a 7th-round pick from last year, 2024 draft. He had 16 tackles, I think, this last game. So far, he has 54 tackles since taking over for Fred Warner. The dude is a dude. And just seems like, God, how do we keep finding guys like this?
Who's the Raiders do that? Like Nick Kuntz, was it? Ended up, came out of nowhere and just was leading the league and tackles.
Bro,
That's what it sounds like this guy.
Exactly. 16 tackles, 8 solo, all over the place. And I think last week had 12 and the week before that 10.
Mm-hmm.
So just double-digit guy taking over in what kind of really looks like a mix between Fred and what D or Dre used to do. In terms of just like, he's not really Fred in coverage, right? But the tackling, he's really there. And man, it'll be great, right? If we get, D's still out there, but if it's D, Tatum, Bethune, and you get all pro Fred back next year, there are things to be excited for. It's sad that we're midway through or less than midway through, and we are kind of, even with a winning record, having to talk about next year.
Right.
But you have to be proud of this team, right? 6-3, 4-2 in the division, in what I think is a tough division. And so, we'll see how this is going to keep going. I think week to week, I've told you guys the same story, right? Where we're going to ideally keep winning. Hopefully it's not tied to the sacrificial aspect of our players, because every week it seems as though that's what's happening, where we're giving up a real guy. But we're getting a good win. And so we won't last at this rate, obviously. We won't have guys out there come the Super Bowl, as I keep saying. But, hey, man, if we want to keep winning, I love it. I love good football. I love good coach teams. This team is not scared to play together, not scared to show up and try to show out.
Yeah.
And so, let's see truly how long this is going to be able to be sustainable. But Mac Jones, Mac Jones, you got to say, is a guy who is proving in the right situation should be QB1.
Yeah.
Right?
Pushing Brock out the
– not that, but you know what I mean? I'm talking about elsewhere. I mean, he's definitely our bona fide backup. And at the end of the day, it's good to have two guys that we feel comfortable playing. But I think elsewhere, somebody's got to give him a job after this. And if not, we'll take him. You know what I mean? Surely. But as we've seen with all the other backups that we ever give this kind of glimpse to, Darno, all these guys in the past, they're all going to go get a job, right? Next week, we have a real toughie, right? This is the Rams. This is the game that I said we were probably going to split. And so, so far I've been really on point. It's been just, I've gotten 3 wrong, obviously. And I think that the one that I got wrong, actually, no, I think I did say, well, we'll have to look at the tape. But I am pretty sure that I did say we'd have a couple losses by here. But I know I didn't say 3. But I think that the overall record at the end of the season I had is only losing 3 games. Maybe even 2. And we're still close to that. I mean, this schedule doesn't have a lot of scary me on the schedule left. But the Rams, this will probably be the toughest game other than the Colts, I think, down the stretch in terms of like real – wow, okay, we'll see what we're made of with whoever's out there.
Right.
I predicted a split. Usually we do. So I'm going to say that again. I think that the Rams probably will get us here. I definitely would not be saying that if we were all forces go, all hands on deck, but it is what it is, right? So there's that. And then from there, I think that, if we play how we're playing, we could finish strong, right? We could see a fair amount of dubs. And I think we're definitely a playoff team with this schedule. The question is, just like was answered, I guess, at the deadline, is this team good enough to actually be thinking, any long-term thoughts in terms of this season, playoffs and beyond? I don't think so. But I'm willing to keep watching, right? So salute to y'all, salute to the faithful, salute to that front office, and Shanahan for not giving up on the guys, right? Showing up week in and week out. And let's hope for the best and get well soon, Mykel Williams, man. Awesome season, cut short. Can't wait to see you next year. I hate to see it, man, but I know you're going to come back better. So excited to see you next year, man. Any notable matchups for this week before we move away from football? Let's look real fast.
I got the Colts 7-2 going against the Falcons. One team doing their thing. The Falcons trying to bounce back after a couple tough games right at the last few weeks.
Yeah, nasty.
Who
you got there?
For them, I'm going to go with the Colts. I mean, Jonathan Taylor looking like an MVP this season.
Yeah.
Falcons are up and down. I think Michael Penix is kind of a toss-up.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins get in there. Maybe change things up a little bit, but I don't know. The Colts have been kind of dominating this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indiana Jones.
Right. He's been bossing up.
Mm-hmm.
Next over here, we have Giants and Bears. We'll just go through all of them because why not? We can do it very quickly. Here I have, again, I'm going to take the Bears. I think that they haven't unlocked their offense. They haven't figured it out yet, but I think that they will. And really, again, this is more about 0-5 in their division, 2-7 in general. The Giants just don't have enough to get it done, in my opinion.
Next, we got the Bills and the Dolphins. Dolphins are trash. Nothing to look forward to besides Achane. Bills probably going to be a dog walk. Josh Allen doing his thing. James Cook, probably another double-digit touchdown season.
Killing them.
6-2 versus 2-7. I mean, it'll have to be a terrible upset in Miami. So absolutely. I got the Bills.
Yep. Next, we have Ravens versus Vikings, and this is in Minneapolis. I think that the Ravens take this. I think Lamar is back. I think so. It's a lot more, it's a closer resembling team than we thought they were going to be in the beginning of the year. And I think that this is where they kick it into gear. And I think that, as people were saying, they may be the first team to potentially reach the playoffs after starting 1-5.
Justin Jefferson not looking too good with JJ
quarterback play is sus over there.
Yeah. Next game, nobody's going to watch or pay attention to, nor should you. We got the Browns versus the Jets. Really don't watch either of these teams, so I don't really have nothing to say about them. Not an exciting game. No, I'm just kidding. I think the Browns should be putting in Shedeur Sanders. At this point, it's just there's no excuses.
Why not?
Their team's trash, and he can bring some hope to it. Saw a little bit in preseason. Sure, the players would rally around him more than they do Dylan Gabriel. But I'll go with the Browns on it.
Yep. In the next game, probably would be my matchup of the week. We have the Patriots at Buccaneers. That's in Tampa. Both these teams have just good quarterback play. Obviously, Drake May has awoken, and Baker has turned himself into the clutch quarterback in our league right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Tampa Bay is not really, full strength right now. So based on what I've seen lately, I'm going to end up going with the Patriots, but it really is hard to go against Baker if it's going to be a close game. But I got to lean the Patriots. I got to lean them being a little more healthy, and I think that defense is just a little better.
All right. Next, we got the Saints and the Panthers. I got the Panthers looking pretty good with Bryce Young, kind of galvanizing that team. The Saints are terrible. They lost Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks. Alvin Kamara hasn't been looking like himself, and Spencer Rattler, he's like 1-16 in his career right now as a quarterback. So really not much to look forward to with that team offensively or defensively. And the Panthers, like I said, seem to be rallying around Bryce Young, and then they have that boy, Uncle Rico Dowdle, absolutely tearing it up on the ground.
Killing it.
So I got to go with the Panthers over the Saints.
Next, we have Jaguars-Texans, and that is at the Texans in Houston. This is a little bit of a tough one to call. I think the Texans are I think both these teams are some of the weirdest teams in the league in terms of trying to call who they're going to be week to week. Seems like some weeks they look like good teams. Mm-hmm. Some weeks they really have identity. And then other weeks it's just like, I don't want to watch this. Mm-hmm. So, it's hard for me, but I'm going to lean towards the Jaguars here. I just think that the Texans were building momentum and have just showed that, I don't know what it is. Something's broken over there. It might be CJ Stroud, but it just ain't right.
Yeah.
It just ain't right. So I'm going to lean the Jags and just hope that T-Law is able to pull it through.
Handling business. Moving on, we got the Cardinals versus the Seahawks. Seahawks, like I just said, just got Rashid Shaheed. They've been having some injuries with their wide receivers, but him and Jackson Smith-Njigba can take care of the passing game. Mm-hmm. And then we got Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker on the ground game, tagging teaming it with Sam Darnold doing this thing at quarterback. On the other side, we got Jacoby Brissett going to be taking over. Kyler Murray, they're still not ready to bring him back. So over the past couple of weeks, this has been able to unlock Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride, especially when it comes to touchdowns. So I think it's going to be an exciting game. I do see the Seahawks taking this one, but I think the Arizona Cardinals right now are just playing a little bit better with Jacoby Brissett, so they'll still make it an interesting game. I'm going with the Seahawks.
And I must say, Jackson Smith-Njigba, 58 receptions, 948 yards, 4 tutties in 8 games.
That's why I call him my nigga.
Wow, that boy, yikes. Next, we have the Rams versus the Niners. Again, as I said, I'm probably going to lean Rams here. I'd love the Niners. We always play super well against them. They got to come into our building. But as everybody knows, SoFi is also our building, so that's never really the big difference maker. So, I got to lean towards them. Usually we split this season series.
Right. After that one, we got the Lions versus the Commanders. The Commanders going down. No Terry McLaurin. They got no Jaden Daniels. Marcus Mariota's got to be out there. Lots of questions in the backfield with Jakrowski Merritt and Chris Rodriguez. They don't know who they want to take over. The Lions team with a big offense. I think there's a game where Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams really show out, and they really lengthen the field this one. And I can kind of see a blowout coming with the Lions winning this one.
Yeah. Sad what's happening to Jaden Daniels this year, man.
Man, terrible.
Next
RG3.
Right. I don't think it's I'm praying it's not anything like that, but also that team I think overachieved last year, and they're dealing with a little bit of the hiccups from overachieving. Next we have Sunday Night Football 5:20, the main matchup for America, Steelers-Chargers. This will be in Inglewood at SoFi Stadium. Again, these are two teams that match up very interestingly.
Yeah.
To me on paper feels like a close game. But also these are the type of teams where one of them offensively could just not even show up on the day. So we'll see. I'm thinking probably really low scoring, but I usually call that and it ends up being high scoring. And here I'm just going to have to lean with the Chargers. I just think they're younger. I think that they're a little more athletic and a little better in the areas that are going to matter.
Nice. And then we end the week with Monday Night Football. Man, this is a huge toss-up to me. We got the Eagles going against the Packers. Both teams is kind of like, what is going on? I know they both are above 500 right now, but the last couple of weeks of them playing, I know the Eagles are coming off a bye, hoping that that's going to rejuvenate them.
Right.
I think the Packers come off a tough one this last week, but
lost to the Panthers.
So both teams are looking a little iffy right now. What's going on with Micah Parsons in that defense? Are they going to be able to figure it out when it comes to the Eagles? Are they going to be able to figure out A.J. Brown and their offense moving forward? I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one, but it's really a toss-up. I'm just doing that because they're the defending champs. I think for some reason in my mind, I think they're going to figure it out. I think it'll be a close game as well, but wouldn't be surprised to see the Packers come out on top. But going Eagles on this one.
There we go. So that's the matchups for the week. You can check us if you'd like. Put in the comments if you think there was something different in terms of the matchups. And I hope you guys enjoy another week, obviously, of NFL football. Moving on.